This video is designed for new users of DezignWorks for Autodesk Inventor, utilizing the FARO device. We're first going to talk about making sure, if this is the first time you use this, about the add-ins for installing and items like that. So once DezignWorks is installed, if it doesn't automatically pop up and you see the DezignWorks tab, you want to go into Tools and you want to go into Add-ins. Make sure that DezignWorks is checked in the add-ins box, and it's for unloaded and loaded. So you'll see here is DezignWorks. You might have to sometimes say add this, then come down and say loaded and unloaded. By default, sometimes it's on block. That's just a default for DezignWorks. And once this is done, you only have to do it one time, and you'd say OK. At that point, it should pop up, and you're going to notice some new tabs in Inventor. If you have probing, you'll notice there's a probing tab. If you have the laser scanning module, you have scanning, and there's an inspection tab. You also see over here that there is a new dialog box that shows you the digital readout, the probe diameter, and if you're scanning some other items. Now, in the event you don't want to use DezignWorks and you're doing multiple parts, DezignWorks was designed to use one part at a time because the arm can't multitask. So let's say you're done using DezignWorks and you need to do parts and assemblies. Go back to the Tools, Add-ins, and simply remove it from the add-in. Do not go into Control Panel and add remove or hide the menus. It's easier to just do a Tools Add-ins. So one of the things you're going to notice is it's connected to the FARO. In this case, we're going to talk about in the fixed mode, and we also have the 8-axis rotary table for the FARO as well. It's a very handy tool. In this case, we're going to mainly be talking about probing. So if we go to the DezignWorks tab, you notice there's a whole new ribbon for all the probing tools. One thing we want to talk about is we're assuming you've already loaded the FARO Device Manager. That's the product from FARO that you probably worked with your FARO salesman. To actually change probes and lasers, you would select Device Calibration. We utilize the FARO SDK. In this case, it's the FARO Probe Management System. Notice in this case I have a 3mm, a 6, and the laser. You simply select that tool you want to use. In this case, we're going to use a 6mm. We're also assuming you've been through the calibration wizard tool for the FARO. So we're going to be using the 6mm probe. We'll close this. And about the only thing different than starting a new part is that you're going to tell it how to do alignment. Best practices is you want to align to the XY plane. So we're going to select the XY plane. We'll come up here to the alignment wizard. The alignment wizard lets you align to your part so it fits inside the Autodesk Inventor coordinate system. In this case, we'll be using the FARO Quantum 8-axis, and there's two buttons. Normally it's green to capture, and you're going to press and hold the red to complete. So in this case, the dialog prompt is asking you for pick at least 3 points. You can pick more than 3, but notice as they're flashing, you want to pick them in the order it's telling you. First point, hold it against the bottom or wherever you want to do alignment to. In this case, we want to work from the bottom of the part. So we're going to use the table, but you don't have to. Hold the probe against it, tap the green button, and you'll hear a click. Move to the right, X positive, just like it shows on the screen, number 2. Number 3 would be a Y positive. And if you have more than 3, you just keep going. But the first 3 are the most important. First point, move to the right, X positive, Y positive. Once that's completed, press and hold the red button, and a new set of pop-ups appear. This allows you to align to different items, such as circle centers, a probe point, a sphere, and an edge. For this operation, we're just going to use, for finding the X, Y, and origin. In the first 2 movements, we're going to use the probe. So we're going to leave it on probe location. we're going to simply hold this against it. You do not want to be perpendicular, slight angle. We're going to hold it against this face, tap the green button. Do not hold it. So this would be like the X positive. For a Y, you really don't have to hold it against it. You could switch it and go to the hole or sphere. We're simply going to go in space. Everything we're doing is projected. Now for an origin, you probably rarely use the probe location. You're going to either use the circle, center, edge, or sphere. In this case, we're going to use this circle as our origin. We're going to press and hold the red button. It gets to the menu, then tap it. It taps and goes through the menu system. When it becomes the circle center, wait a couple seconds and it's ready to use. Take a minimum of 3 points, but you can take more than 3 around the profile of this circle. Then you would go ahead and you'd press and hold the red button. And then press and hold it again to finish. So now you're in a sketch and you're ready to work. Now, if you are sitting at your table and you want to actually select from the ribbon, you can. It's really not designed to be worked that way, but it can be done that way. It's designed because you're probably usually standing up, and you depress the red button, hold it, then tap to get through the menus. So again, press and hold it once, then tap. You'll go through all the commands. That window can be moved around or shrunk or anywhere you want to put it. So we're going to press and hold it here. Again, it went to the probe because we were on that command. I'm going to close it. So again, you could pick from here all the commands. These are exactly like your sketch tools. So basically, in this case, the FARO arm is going to be your new sketch tool. So we're in the sketch. Press and hold the button, red button, and let go, and it goes to line. So this is the DezignWorks line tab. This can be moved around wherever you want it. The question mark will get you into the help, and then it can be closed. Compensation. All the data is taken to ball center. So in the line command, if you want to use manual mode, that lets you actually select the point and pull away. There's actually an extrude mode that you take all the data in counterclockwise and a cut in clockwise. Let's talk about manual to get started. You also can have relationships. You can make the lines horizontal, vertical, or fixed. In this case, we're going to leave them to none. And you can also make it for construction, or you can actually extend it. So in this case, the bottom of the part is where we want to work from. And we want to actually capture the profile around it. So we're in the line mode. You simply hold the probe against the face. You would not hold it perpendicular. Hold it against it, tap the button. So for a line command, you need at least 3 points. You can also tap and then hold against it and press and hold the green button and drag. When you're finished taking data, we'll zoom out so you can see where we're at. Okay, there's a temporary point. You want to pull away from the part, not up. Pull away, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Again, it's not that critical. You just don't want to pull back like 3 feet. You would pull back away from the part, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, press and hold the red button. All the data is taken to ball center. When you pull away, it actually shows the normal, and that actually shows how to comp. So again, it's just like you draw this. We're going to hold it against the side over here. Tap the green button to collect data. You pull away, press and hold the red button. We're going to come on the other side of the part and repeat. So you also can just all full drag. You can hold it against the part, press and hold the green button and drag it. You cannot back up and overlap. That's just rules of Autodesk Inventor. Pull away a little bit, press and hold the button. Again here, need at least 2 points. What if I take a bad point? Tap the red button once, it'll get rid of it. In this case, we've got the least 2 points. We'll pull away, press and hold the red button. We have one more piece down here to get. Take at least 2 or 3 points. Press and hold the red button. So now we have the line profile of this part. Let's go ahead and get the top part. We're going to assume it's an arc. We're going to press and hold the red button and tap it and go through the commands. We're on the arc tool. Now the arc tool has some other options. It has manual. You pull away just like we did with the line. There's also if you're around a boss or a hole. In this case, this would be a boss, but you could also use manual. Both would work. So let's say you're on boss. You can make it fixed or for construction. You need at least 3 points. We recommend more than 3. There's a little gap here we're going to jump over. Tap in the green button. You can also drag. Now, since we're on boss, we don't have to really pull away because it knows it's on a boss. Press and hold the red button. Now we have our full profile. And we'll use the trim tool in Inventor to finish this. So go up to the trim tool, or you can right click with your mouse, select trim, and then extend, and we'll extend all this data. This is just like you sketch on a daily basis with Autodesk Inventor. You can run the mouse to zoom in and out. In reality, Autodesk Inventor doesn't know that you created this with a device. All it knows is you've got data on the screen. So we'll finish trimming this all up. We'll switch back to the trim tool. And then we'll extrude it. So now we have our sketch. Now at this point, if you wanted to dimension this and things, you could. So if you wanted to go ahead and go up here and be in the sketch tools for Inventor, and you wanted to dimension this or do whatever you want to do with this, you can. You could constrain it, or you could use DezignWorks to constrain it. It really doesn't know that this was done with a device. That could be any time you want. So we actually got out of the commands there for a second. So there's 2 ways to extrude this. You can select on the DezignWorks ribbon, since you're already sitting there trimming, or press the button on the device. We're going to hit extrude. You'll take the device, and then you'll show it what the height is. So we're going to take this. We want to extrude to this point. You wouldn't hold it parallel to it because it would trick it, and the normal wouldn't know which way it's up or down. So we're going to hold it on a slight angle. We're going to tap the green button. When you do that, you notice it captures a value. Press and hold the red. It opens up the Autodesk Inventor extrude button. Now, it's the same rules if you're using Inventor. If this didn't extrude, you probably have an open profile. In this case, we don't have one, and we'll say OK. So now you've got the base extrude completed. We recommend you save your part periodically, as you do with normal and Autodesk Inventor. So we'll come up here and say File, Save. Give it a name, whatever you want to call it. Say OK. So let's move forward and work on the part. So you notice on the top part there's some holes. The same way you work in Autodesk Inventor, you will do this with DezignWorks. Pick a face with the mouse like you do. Right click, New Sketch, or pick from the little menus. There's no right or wrong way. Again, to press the button on the device, ribbon, press and hold it. We'll tap and go through the commands. So we're going to use the circle tool. And again, you can move these where you want them. Once you locate these, they will stay. Remember, you have the question mark for help and the comp. In this case, I'm going to be inside of a hole. Now, normally with Autodesk Inventor, you take 3 points. With DesignWorks, we use a different type of mathematics that lets you take as many points as you want. And with the circle tool, you can back up and overlap. You can't do that with the line or the spline tool. This rules of Inventor. So we're going to actually take this and take some points around it. Now, if you want, you can press and hold it and drag it. Just make sure you keep the probe in contact with the part. Because we're using the hold command, you don't have to pull away or anything. Press and hold the red button. Again, we'll repeat over here. You can either tap, tap, tap while holding against it, or drag. We made this very easy to use. You can go forwards, backwards, whatever you want. If you're taking it manually, the worst case would be this. Only 3 points. It's hard to best fit by 3 points. You want to take as many as you can for holes. Okay, or drag. Now you have your holes. So again, we want to do those all the way through. You could use DezignWorks to do this, or Inventor. So because we're so well interfaced, you could go ahead and select the 3D model, extrude, select where you want to use, and we're going to do a cut using DezignWorks as too. The reason why we're showing this is to show you that you can use all the Inventor tools interactively. So you come in here and say, I want to do, like this case, if you had up to next, you could. You can say to, through all. We're also using the 3D mouse to rotate this with, and say OK. So you can see we're totally interfaced to Autodesk Inventor. It's totally seamless. So let's do the center hole. Let's pick a face, and we'll say new sketch, and we'll do it and use the cut with DezignWorks. So again, we'll press and hold the red button, tap it to get to the command you want. We're still on the hole. It stays modal. Press and hold the red. Now we'll go ahead and use the DezignWorks extrude. Tap the red button to get to it. We'll simply give it a depth. Hold it down to the depth. Tap the green button. Notice it captures the value. Press and hold the red. So it automatically is smart. It knows you're inside of there. There's the value. And it already signaled the cut tool for you and say OK. So at this point, we have this really nice looking part. Let's really see how accurate it is. Design has an inspection that's designed more for reverse engineering. We call it in-process inspection. We do not do GD&T and things like that, but it's a great tool for you, the engineer, using Inventor and DezignWorks to do this. So we'll go ahead and go up to the tool to actually check this. It's called Feature to Probe. Unlike Windows, you can do Control A, but Inventor doesn't allow that, so you can actually just select the model from the tree or from here, and you can pick what you want to do. Now you'll notice it's not selecting. Sometimes you have to put the arm back on its home position, and sometimes you get away with it. So we got away with it this time, but sometimes you have to put the arm back in home. So you simply take the device, hold it on the part. Notice on the right side of the screen is 10 to deviation. Now this was printed, so it's not super accurate. It's more of a training tool, but you can see it holds a deviation. So let's say you want a report. You can hold this on any face, hold it against the part, tap the green button. So anything that we've captured digitized data from, we can inspect. And you can even drag it. I'm tapping the green button. When you're done, press and hold the red. So now you do need Excel. It's going to open an Excel report. Now notice in here, you can tell it to merge to it, and it's also set up for Excel, and you can compare to mesh or model. So now in this case, we had it merging. We can slide this out of the way. There's the points we took. It merged and it told us all of them. And you can change the wording up here to say your company name and whatever you want to do. But it gives you a little way of checking the part. So we'll close this, continue to build on it. So we also have some primitives. These are new. They came from our meshing tools, and they're a great way to speed up your process. So even especially like the cone or the sphere, you'd have to go ahead and build a plane, build an axis, put a sketch, revolve it. We wanted to speed all that up. So let's do like the probe sphere. This has a little sphere on it. Simply take some points around it. Pull away. Press and hold the red button. There's your sphere. It stays modal if you don't want to use it. We'll go to like the cone. So the cone dialog box, you can move it. You notice it's got some verbiage. Take points on the cone, then take a point on the base, then you'll pull away to show the compensation. You repeat it on the top. You'll take a point on the top, and you'll pull away for the compensation. So again, the dialog box says first, take some points around the cone, near the top, near the bottom. Now we're going to tell it what the base is. So now there's my base. Tap the green button, pull up and away a little bit. There's a comp. Hold it on the top, tap the green button, pull up and away a little bit, and tap the green button, then press and hold the red. And there's your cone. So now let's talk about the 8-axis table. So this is the FARO 8-axis. Normally you want to activate this before you start Inventor and DezignWorks. So this is what it actually looks like. We've mounted the fixed logics plate onto it. This will hold up to like 220 pounds. We actually did a project where we had cylinder head up here and a block and all kinds of parts, and it works really, really well. So now, as you've seen in the first part of the video, we moved around it. Now you can simply spin the table. So notice it has some cutouts and stuff in different faces. Everything's still aligned. So we'll simply come up here, turn the part. We'll pick this face. We'll start a new sketch. So again, pick this face, and we'll say new sketch. Then again, just like before, we'll go ahead, press the red button and tap and get to the command we want. So rather than having to turn the part now, you can rotate this wherever you want. Take some points just like before. Press and hold the red button. There's your hole. This is a great addition. We want to go to the cut tool, or actually in Inventor it's called all extrude. We're going to do a cut command from it. Our depth is back here. Press and hold the red button. Like we did with the ones on the top, we simply are going to come up here and pick it and say, okay, knows the depth. This really makes it nice when you're working on parts that you don't want it to move around them. And the accuracy is awesome. So like over here on this side, you could do that. Cut this out. So again, we'll pick this face, new sketch. To press and hold the red button. In this case, we're in manual. So I can rotate this around. So rather than have to go like this and move around it, you simply move the table. You still pull away for the comp. But you can rotate the part wherever you want. Then you'd simply go ahead and at that point extend all these and trim them. You could actually make them horizontal or fixed, whatever you want. You can independently draw while DezignWorks is active. So we'll come over here, we'll just make this a closed profile so we can do the cut. And we'll trim this up. And you can use the trim tools from up here, or you can use them anywhere you want. So there's no right or wrong way, whatever you like to do. Some people like to come up there, some people like to select them. this case I made a little mistake there, but we'll join it back up. It follows all the inventor rules. You have to have a closed profile. So at that point, you just, with DezignWorks, you simply up here, since I'm already moved back to the keyboard, I can hit the extrude, tell it the depth. That noise you hear means it's on a limit. Hold the point, the ball probe down to a depth you want. Tap the green button to capture. Notice it puts the depth in there. Press and hold the red and go ahead and do a cut. Remember, save your part occasionally. Now let's talk about another primitive tool called the probe loft. This is a great tool. So imagine this complex shape here, trying to capture that data. We'll go move it up here so you can see it closely. In this case, this is going to allow you to take points all over this surface face, and you can determine the number of cross sections you want. I don't probably need 15. You can make more than 15 or less than 15. I'll say 10. You can leave the tolerance up there, and on this case, we want this to extend past this so we can trim it. So we'll go ahead and say extend it. I'm just guessing. This is say 40%. At that point, you simply take the probe, hold it, keep it in contact. You can tap the button. You can rotate this or leave it stationary, or you can depress and hold it and color it in. So you want to take points around there that represent what this looks like. So a lot of times, if you're a new user, you might want to take single points around the profile. If you slip off the edge, you can tap the red button to take data out. So best preferred way when you're learning is take some around the outside peripheral. You can see on the screen. Then you can kind of color, press and hold it. You don't have to worry about getting too close to the edge. So you're just taking enough points that you can identify it. You notice on the screen there's a bunch of points. Then you press and hold the red button. This is going to go ahead and create a lofted surface across there. Now this is to ball center. You will have to offset this half the diameter, but it's a great tool. It'd be nearly impossible to figure that out without having a tool like this. Now the great thing about this is the cross sections are editable. You can edit those. So if you did make a mistake, you could pull those out. Notice it created a lofted surface. But if you look in here in the tree, here's all your curves. In the event you slipped or lifted, you could select it left mouse and say edit sketch. All these can be modified and changed. That's the beauty of DezignWorks. Now, one thing you will have to do, that's the ball center. It doesn't know the normal to offset. You go up to 3D model, and you can actually offset this. So if you have never seen these tools before, these are the tools in Inventor for creating, mainly you probably use extrude and things like that, but under the surface tools, you can actually offset a surface. So if you've never seen these before, you may have to sometimes come over here, and if you're on the surface tools, tell it what you want to do. Thicken offset. Okay, you want to select it with your left mouse. You get a little preview. In this case, we don't want to thicken it. So you'll change this to a surface. We'll tell it the direction you want, outside or inside. Notice that goes down. This case, we have a 3mm ball probe. We're in an inch template, it says it's 236. We want to offset this 0.118. It's half the diameter. Select OK. We can hide this one. Okay, select it. Or you can come down to the tree, and here's your loft. You tell it to make it invisible. So now that is down to the surface face. So you can go ahead, in this case, we would go ahead and actually make the square around there. So you pick a face and start a new sketch. We'll move it here. We'll use the DezignWorks tools. Depress and hold the red. In this case, it's on line. And I'm on manual. So I'm going to sketch around here. Remember, I'm in manual. I'm going to pull away, not up. The line needs at least 2 points. I did 3. With a rotated table, you can turn it to where you want. So neat. We'll go ahead, put that together. Again, that noise you hear, that's just putting the arm back on the stop. This is telling it you're over the limit. We'll go ahead and actually extend this. Then we'll go ahead and use Autodesk Inventor to extrude that. And we'll use, it's called up to next. You can tell it which way you want to go. Or they have up to surface, or you can say to, select that, or next. And then you can hide this. And there you have your part. So let's go check this once. Again, we use the loft tool. We took points around the boundary for beginners. Then we scribbled inside, created that. Remember, that was when you ever use the loft tool, it's the ball center. We had the tools on 3D model, and we went up and we said offset, and make sure you change it to the surface. So now we're going to use DezignWorks to check this. We're going to come up to the feature to probe. You can select any face you want. It picked the whole solid. Again, down here you can say merge or don't merge. I'm going to say Excel, and you can take the defaults. So now we'll actually just hold this on here. It'll tell you the deviation. Again, it's printed, so it may not show super accuracy. This is how you would do this. Take some points, and you can actually rotate the table. I'm tapping the green button. Then press and hold it, and that'll give you a report. The report will open up. Standard deviation was 5, but again, it was printed. So this is a great introduction to get you started. We hope you enjoyed the video. Whenever you need the rest of your training, email the DezignWorks support team at DezignWorks.com, or give us a call, and we can go ahead and start on other projects with you. We appreciate your business, and have a great day.